Hi, I'm Rob Eisenberg, founder of VoteEarthNow.com, the website that makes it easy to vote for the planet. And I'm here with Kylea Tink to talk about what climate action she'll take if she becomes the representative for North Sydney. Kylea, it's great to be chatting to you today.
Thank you, Rob. It's great to be here.
There is really a great energy and excitement around the excellent candidates we have running as independents this election. What inspired you to run, and what do you see as the key things you want to address if elected?
It was a combination of frustration and also ambition that inspired me to run, Rob. I'm a mum of three teenagers, a 19-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And for the last 2 years, I've been working specifically with young Australians to help them get back up on their feet. And what I noticed was it didn't matter how good the programs were that we were running, we were effectively facing young Australians out to an uncertain economy, an uncertain society, and an uncertain environment. So I was approached by a community group called North Sydney's Independent and asked if I'd ever considered entering politics. And once I got after the shock of the call and probably the initial laughter, 8 weeks later, I found myself saying yes to the opportunity to run as the independent. I'm running because we've run out of time. We don't have another 3 years to wait for real action from our Australian federal government, and we desperately need to break the gridlock, which is the two-party system at the federal level. So I'm running for faster action on climate. I'm running for integrity in politics. I'm running for a re-gearing of our economy so it's forward focused, and I'm running for to address the inequality issues for all.
Fantastic. And you know, with respect to that, as the founder of Vote Earth Now, the website that assesses candidates so that we can allow voters to know how they stand on climate action, I'm personally so pleased to see people like you who have scored 100% on our climate commitment questionnaire. Thank you. Now, given that, and so you're leading your electorate, uh, North Sydney, because of that, can you outline what will be your first actions on climate if you get
Yeah,
Canberra?
definitely, Rob. Climate is the number one priority, and I hear it consistently from people across North Sydney. And it actually is not just the awareness of climate, it's they want action, and they want action now. So, as North Sydney's independent, I'll be adding my voice to the push to get the climate bills that were tabled to Parliament last year passed and through the House. The reason those bills are so important is that they actually provide a framework for our country to be able to move ourselves forward in an accountable basis. I'm advocating for higher carbon emissions reduction targets for 2030 and a more ambitious target to get us to net zero. There's a group of about 25 or 30 people around the campaign that have identified that we could actually make the federal seat of North Sydney one of the first net zero urban energy zones in the country. And that's important not only because it will reduce our emissions and bring down our cost of living, but if North Sydney can do it, then any urban seat can do it. And then probably the final piece that's really important is as North Sydney's independent, I've committed to tabling a private members bill to introduce legislated vehicle and fuel emission standards into our country so that we can actually immediately start to reduce the emissions that, transport is currently the third highest contributor to carbon emissions in our economy. So getting in there and making sure that we're bringing in more efficient vehicles, driving on cleaner fuels is actually one of the simplest things we can do.
I love to imagine driving around North Sydney in a quiet car with fresh air and the windows down and buildings covered in greenery. It's great to imagine this future, and we need all this vision and ambition. And I think that strong action on climate change is well overdue, as I know so many people do. Most people do. In fact, all Australians want action on climate change. And so seeing how the Vote Earth Now website works to inform voters of your credentials and the other great candidates that are out there, what would be your message to people about using it for the 2022 election?
Yeah, look, it's really important that people have confidence and take ownership of their vote as they cast it in this election. And I think that actually the rise of candidates such as myself has been a real call to action on that basis. The reality of our democracy is that every single person's vote is equal in its power. And so therefore, if we're feeling frustrated with the system, the reality is it's a system of our creation and we have the capacity to recreate it. So I'm really appealing to people. as you cast your vote this time, do so in a really informed way. Think through who it is that you want to represent your community in this next sitting of Parliament, and then actually let that thought process flow all the way through. In my case, there are 10 people sitting, running for a seat in Parliament. Number all of your boxes in the order that you would want to see those people represent our community, and do keep putting climate at the top of your choice list, because if we don't do this, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. So it's our time right now, and I do agree. I think it's a pivotal time for our generation to step up and decide what legacy we're actually leaving for our children and their children.
Thank you, Kylie. It's our time and it's up to us. And thank you for giving us an option and candidates like you. And it's really easy on Vote Earth now to reward people like you by putting them at the top of your ballot paper, and to punish those who have failed us and left us where we are right now. So, Kylie, all I can say is it's been lovely to meet you, and good luck on the 21st.
Thank you, Rob. It's been an amazing experience. And, regardless of outcome, I can honestly say this has been such an important conversation. And I'm 100% committed to this. So let's do it. Let's change the climate in Canberra.
Yes.